I, Travis Argue, Chair, call the live virtual state plumbing board meeting of October 21st, 2021 to order at 9:30. We will do a roll call, please. Debbie?
Chair Travis Argue.
Here.
Vice Chair Matthew Roselle.
Here.
Craig Anderson.
Here.
Corey Fraser.
Here.
Melissa Gett. We'll check on Melissa in just one moment. Molly Keller.
Here.
Joe Lee Bold.
Here.
Thank you. Melissa Gett. Okay, Mr. Chair, as soon as Melissa logs on, we'll just note the time.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
we
you.
do have a quorum.
All right. Is there any members who would like to change anything to the agenda or the order of business? If none, I, Chair Argue, rule the agenda and order of business approved. Are there any changes to the draft meeting minutes? Okay, hearing none, I, Chair Argue, rule the draft meeting minutes of August 19th, 2021 final. Our next scheduled date of the meeting is December 16th, 2021. Okay. Mr. Boulton, would you address any public comment, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Andy Boulton, Policy Analyst at the Division. We did have one person sign up for public comment today. We have Rick Charriere from Oregon PHCC here today to provide comment to the board. Mr. Charriere, please state your full name and affiliation for the record before providing comment to the board. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Rick Charriere. Good morning, Mr. Chair Argue and members of the board. I'm speaking on behalf of Oregon Plumbing, Heating, Cooling Contractors. Or PHCC is a nonprofit trade association. We've been the voice of the plumbing, heating, and cooling industry since April of 1949. We're the only organization in Oregon that's representing both open and signatory contractors in plumbing and heating and cooling. Do you want me to just go ahead and, I'm not sure of your format, do you want me to go ahead and just present what I have to present? Is that how we do this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Our national association has been incorporated since 1883, making it the first construction trade association in the United States. We all know that Oregon needs more licensed plumbers, and our association believes we need to focus on licensing more high quality plumbers through our apprenticeship program, as well as a number of other methods we've been working to develop. We feel that we shouldn't be looking for ways to cut corners or reduce our expectations in an effort to attract lesser qualified individuals. We want to ensure that those who can prove they are qualified to hold an Oregon Journeyman Plumber's license have the pathway to obtain it. We also want to make sure those that are looking for an apprenticeship opportunity have the encouragement and the vehicle to enter the program. We all know there's a labor shortage. It's not just in plumbing, it's in a lot of different areas, a lot of the different trades. We've had them before, and we'll have these shortages again. The key is to work together so we can utilize all of our collective expertise. PHCC has years of experience in training and licensing across the nation. We feel that with that format, we have an opportunity for outreach and educational opportunities. We'd like to be able to use those opportunities and work with the plumbing board specifically so that we can try to employ some of the methods that we've been looking at using. We feel that the plumbing board is a key to how we move forward in Oregon. Personally, I have over 40 years experience in the plumbing trade in Oregon. I'm the chair of Everyone Plumbers JATC. I've seen a lot of things that have worked. There's been a lot of things that have changed. There's a lot of things that have stayed the same. I'm not only open to the new ideas, but the existing ideas that we have been using, but I'm open to new ideas, maybe better systems. So I think that's what we're looking to do, is to try to have that dialogue, have that opportunity to maybe get people together to start looking at how we are currently dealing with licensing in Oregon, and what we can do to increase opportunities, whether it be with reciprocity, or if it's just more outreach within the state to make sure that the barriers are taken down that might be keeping somebody from getting into the industry, and to get out there and have an open conversation to attract people. Personally, I feel that there has been a real issue with the perception of what the plumbing trade is and what the licensing is. There have been times in the past where it's been looked at as, well, it's a fallback. It's something that you can fall back on. We don't feel that. We feel that it's a real viable opportunity, and so we want to have those opportunities shown, and we want to just make this grow the amount of licensed plumbers that we have. So that's what we've got. That's what we're looking for.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
I don't currently have any questions. I do have the same opinion and agree with you that this is, so I'd like to ask the building codes to look in, I have a prepared statement, let's put it that way. And Travis Argy would like to follow up on the reciprocity request from Washington. Can the division look at current agreements and rules and see if they harmonize with our current practices? And how can we look at different appropriate or approved academic programs? How are we looking at non-reciprocity states' qualifications for approval to sit for Oregon Journeyman's Test? So I would like to have the division start moving in a pattern where we can get this going and figure out rules that need to be changed or things that need to be done to move forward from this moment. Are there any questions or comments? All right, hearing none. Thank you, Rick. I appreciate you coming in. All right, so the next order of business is, let's see. This one's a little confusing, this trip. So I guess I'm going to ask Sarah about the contested case representative, please.
Through the chair, thank you, Chair Argy, members of the board. First, I just want to introduce today, we have with us our new Attorney General. Several months ago, our assigned Attorney General, Tyler Anderson, transferred to a new role. And we have with us today Jacob Gill, who likes to be called Jake. He's our new Attorney General. He comes to us with many years of experience, including his most recent work litigating for Geico, which is a very intense position. We've been working with him for several months now, to our delight, and he's been integral in helping us resolve the cases before the board today. On that note, Jake will now discuss the cases with you, and I'm sure he'd be happy to also answer any questions about himself.
Good morning, and I'm pleased to be with you, and I'm happy to be able to present these two consent orders to the board. A little bit about myself. I graduated from the University of Oregon School of Law in 2003. I practiced for 15 years doing commercial real estate transactional work, business transactional work, as well as commercial litigation. As Sarah indicated, I moved on and worked for Geico for a period, litigating cases for them. I'm the assigned Assistant Attorney General for the Building Codes Division and its related boards. And in that role and in that capacity, I handle contested case hearings before the administrative law judges and the Office of Administrative Hearings. Today, we're presenting two consent orders in two related cases. One case was against an entity called Go Plumbing and Heating LLC, and the other was against an individual named Timothy Ferrando. These are not the first time these people have been in front of us. Go Plumbing and Heating had actions taken against it related to violations in 2017 and in 2018. Mr. Ferrando failed to pay his taxes, and so his journeyman license was withdrawn and was suspended in 2013 for failure to pay taxes, and action also was taken against him in 2018 for unlicensed work. These two actions arise out of the same incident. Mr. Ferrando was employed by Go Plumbing and Heating LLC, and Mr. Ferrando installed underfloor plumbing at a new construction in Coburg, Oregon. The violation was reported by an apprentice that was on site who contacted Building Codes Division to disclose that. The actions were initiated, the notice orders were issued in 2019, but because of COVID and various factors, the resolution was delayed until just recently with these consent orders. The consent order, the proposed consent order against Go Plumbing and Heating provides for the payment of suspended civil penalties that had been imposed in the prior proceedings in the amount of $3,500 plus an additional $5,000, so total civil penalty payable of $8,500. It also includes a 30-day license suspension and a 25-month conditional license that requires quarterly reports regarding employees, jobs, permits, etc., as described in the consent orders. The Ferrando consent order, Mr. Ferrando has not been licensed since his license was suspended in 2013 and then revoked during the subsequent action against him. A civil penalty of $2,500 was imposed. If he pays that civil penalty and meets all of the other qualifications, he will be allowed to sit for his journeyman license exam. If a license is issued, then his license will be conditioned for a 24-month period, with conditions similar to those imposed on the license of Go Plumbing and Heating LLC. So that's a brief description of the two consent orders. They are related. They arise out of the same conduct. And if you have questions about the process that went into resolving these cases, any questions about the reasons for these consent orders, then we can move into an executive session so that we can preserve the attorney-client privilege with respect to that advice. If there aren't any questions, then we do not need to move into an executive session.
Okay, thank you. I've read over this. I don't really have any questions. I think it's pretty thoroughly represented as to what the problem was and what the case is. But I speak for myself. If there's anybody on the board that would like to have further questions or further information revealed, you're most certainly welcome to speak up. Okay. So I guess everybody's good with what they read and saw. I guess at this point, I'll make a motion. And the motion is to issue a final order adopting the proposed order as is. There's been a motion. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Chair, just to clarify, is that for both of the proposed consent orders?
Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry. Yes, for both consent orders. Okay, is there any discussion from the members of the board? Okay, hearing none, I'll ask Debbie for a roll call, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jolie Bold. Jolie Bold, how do you vote on the motion? Molly Keller?
Aye.
Thank you. Melissa Gett, she is trying to get in. Melissa, are you
I'm on the
in
phone.
the meeting?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you.
Mhm.
Corey Fraser?
Aye.
Craig Anderson?
Aye.
Vice Chair Matthew Roselle?
Aye.
Chair Travis Argue.
Aye.
It shows that Jolie Bold has left the meeting, and Mr. Chair, we do have a unanimous vote.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the next order of business, let's see, we don't need to go through the executive session. Thank you for being here, by the way, Jacob. Next is program update with Mr. Andy Skinner.
Thank you, Chair Argy, members of the board. For the record, my name is Andy Skinner. I'm the Plumbing Program Chief of the State of Oregon Building Codes Division. I have a little bit of information today for the board in regards to the last code adoption. IAPMO, I believe, for the first time, has come out with a second printing of the UPC for the 2021. So I just wanted to kind of communicate to the board and the industry that the 2021 Illustrated Training Manual is based on the first printing of the UPC, the 2021 UPC. The 2021 OPSC, the Oregon Plumbing Specialty Code, is actually printed on the second UPC edition. So what does this mean? It means that you'll probably find a little bit of model language difference between the 2021 Illustrated Training Manual and the 2021 OPSC. There was quite a few TIAs from IAPMO during the 2021 adoption, and a TIA is a tentative interim amendment. With several of those tentative interim amendments, I believe IAPMO decided to come out with that second printing of the UPC. So it's just more of a communication that when you're cross-referencing the 2021 Illustrated Training Manual with the 2021 OPSC, there is some differences in model code language. This did not affect Oregon amendments. It only affected model code language. I do have one example just to kind of give an idea of where this difference is. If you look in table 603.2 of the 2021 Illustrated Training Manual, you will find underneath ADBs that it states in there that no valve shall be downstream. When you look at the 2021 OPSC, in that same table, underneath the atmospheric vacuum breaker, you will see that it says shall be open to the atmosphere, and the no valve downstream language is not in the OPSC. This again is from the second edition of the UPC. So just again, it's communication piece, especially for those out there that are trainers and that utilize that Illustrated Training Manual book quite a bit in their training for apprenticeship or CEU. Just wanted to make sure I communicated that there are some differences there. But again, the 2021 OPSC is based on the second printing of the UPC. So we're good to go there. Is there any questions, comments? Thank you, board. That's all I have today.
Thank you, Andy. Okay, so there is no communications, no appeals, no unfinished business. Our next up is new business with Andy Boulton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Excuse me. Andy Boulton, Policy Analyst for the Division. The Continuing Education Committee reviewed applications for 4 courses and 1 instructor. For this meeting, all 5 of the applications are recommended for approval for the 2021 code cycle. There is further documentation available in your board packet, and this will require a motion. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll make a motion. I make a motion to approve the committee's recommendation for approval and denial of courses and instructors. Is there been a motion? Is there any discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll do the roll call. Debbie, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We did have some sound issues and some connection issues, so I'm hoping that all board members are connected now. Jolie Bold.
Aye.
Thank you, Joe. Molly Keller.
Aye.
Melissa Getz.
Aye.
Corey Fraser.
Aye.
Craig Anderson.
Aye.
Vice Chair Matthew Rozelle.
Aye.
And Chair Travis Argue.
Aye.
The motion passes unanimously.
Okay. That one was relatively easy. We're at adjournment. I, Chair Argue, announce the board meeting to be over at 9:52. Thank you, everyone.